Okay, let's jump right into this video real quickly. This is phase two. And remember in phase one, we said find life, right? And now we're in phase two where we found life. We want to look for open ports. Real quick refresh from phase one to find life. I'm going to do an nmap -sp for the ping 10.0.0. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit. I when I found life, I did all 255 devices. I'm going to do 1 through 10. All right, so save a little bit of time. And it found what did it find? It found 1, it found 2, it found 4, it found 6. All right, 1 is the PFS sent. That's this beast here. 2 is myself, and 3 and 4, 4 and 6. 4 and 6 are in question. So I've written those down, right? These my plan of attack. I have a log in my plan of attack. I found life. Now what I want to do is I want to do a port scan. I want to see what ports are open on all those given devices. So how do I use nmap to determine that? Well, nmap, our Swiss Army tool of scanning, can be easily found at nmap.org. A lot of information associated up here. There's books, there's documentations. As I said before, nmap can be used in a scripting language. Very powerful tool. So I can look up how to do port scanning. And the port scanning that I want to do is the TCP port scanning. Now, quick refresher. Remember, when a client establishes a TCP, a connection-oriented protocol, with a port, it initiates that three-way handshake. So the client basically asks for a sync. It goes to the server with the sync. That's first part of the handshake. The server responds with a sync acknowledge. Yep, if you want to talk, let's talk. I'm going to acknowledge this. And then basically the client acknowledges back. Three-way handshake. So that might be a nice scan to do to look for open ports. It's still loud though, right? But we'll work on that. It's still a loud approach where I'm going to all these potential ports on these different devices and stuff like that. It's trying to establish a three-way handshake. Well, let's do it anyways. We're going to say nmap-st. And to save time, I know there's only 6. There's actually only 4. 1, 2, 4, and 6. I can do them individually. I'm going to say everything in the range of 1 to 6. So do this port scanning. It's not even going to try the machines that are even there, but a little bit of shorthand here. Now we got some interesting information going on here. If I look at the one at address 1, I know it's a firewall, right? I can easily look up PFSense. It's a very secure firewall. It's one of the leading open source firewalls out there, so that's not too much of a concern. The ports that are open to it, the domain port, the TCP domain port, and the HTTP port. You're going to see a lot of port 80 open if you want devices to communicate with other devices using a web browser or something like that. So basically, PFSense is, even though I know from research that it is a router, I can interact with that machine through a web browser because there's port 80. Now this machine 10.0.0.4, this one's interesting. This one has a whole bunch of open ports doing things. Wow. I'm going to write that one down. That one is really interesting. Any machine that you would see with a lot of ports, or even a lot of ports that aren't normally open, that might be a target that we want to investigate. Keep scrolling. 10.0.6, still ignoring no open ports, but you know what? I'm still kind of curious about that one. I'm going to say there's some curiosity on that one. No real open ports associated with it, but we're fine. 2, that's myself. I don't have any port. I'm not going to hack into the machine that I'm in. So, step 1, find life on your network. Tends to be a little noisy when we use the -SP on Nmap. It's doing some big pinging there. Step 2, or phase 2, I'm sorry, discover open ports. We're going to try using that 3-way handshake. Still tends to be a little bit noisy. We're using a full way handshake, but the nice thing about this is it's really discovering all open ports that are out there. So, with that knowledge, let's go on to phase 3 or step 3, and let's go learn something.